Hi, it's Dorothy Gagne with Scrapbooking Quebec. Today I'm participating in the monthly YouTube collaboration for the love of crafting and sharing. And our December prompt was Holly Jolly. So what we're supposed to do is create something that is simple and holiday themed. No stress whatsoever. So my plan, I'm going to be following this fun sketch by Milena Woodiwiss. She's a sketch artist from the Canadian online scrapbooking store, the Scrapbook Nerd. And I'm going to put a few links below where you can find her free sketches. Also, I'm going to put links to all the other participants below as well, so be sure to check them out. Here's what I'm going to be using. I have material from the Simple Stories Winter Cottage collection. And take note, the printed paper I selected is all scraps. This sketch is perfect for using up leftovers. So in a minute, you're going to see what I have on my desk. I made a frame style foundation with 3 sheets of paper in advance, and I got in 2 of them. There's a tutorial on my channel where I do that, and I'll link it up below. I have 2 photos. They're identical, but I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. It depends on the size I decide on. And I'm showing you those strips of paper. So I took some of that scraps and I cut them up into 1-inch strips, and I did add some faux stitching, and I'll get back to that later. And as you can see, I have a bunch of embellishments as well as more paper and the sketch handy. So the sketch now is in the top left-hand corner, and I'm just showing you how I did my faux stitching on those strips of paper. That is an old retired template by Stampin' Up, but I do think some other companies may have them now, maybe Ranger, I'm not quite sure. Anyway, basically it has little holes in it, and I'm taking a paper piercing tool, poking holes in it, and there's a sponge mat underneath. And now all I'm doing is taking a fine tip marker and I join the holes together, and it has that faux stitching. Actually, it has a stitching look about it. What I'm doing right now is cutting these strips of paper, and you're going to see I have kind of a pattern going here, and most of it, every second paper is that green polka dotted paper, and I'm following the sketch. So I'm forming a kind of an imperfect tree. Actually, on the Facebook page for the Scrapbook Nerd, somebody asked Milena what she used for measurements for that tree, and she provided it. And I'm following exactly what she had written on that Facebook page. And again, that's listed below in the links. So I decide to go with that smaller photo, and I matted it. And now what I'm going to do is take all those strips of paper and I'm going to add some ink to the edge. The ink I'm using is dark, or it's called Basic Gray by Stampin' Up. I don't make you watch all of this, but anyway, I end up adding ink to all the edges, and I find inking paper when you're using strips of paper a really great way to unify the look. It just does something when you're using a bunch of different paper. Also, when I use strips of paper, I do like to add stitching. It's like it holds it to the page. That's why I knew in advance I was going to be adding stitching, and I took the liberty of doing it in advance. So what you see me doing now is simply adhering this tree, and it's not perfect. I'm making sure it's straight across, but they're not totally centered. You're going to see I kind of toss them from one side to the next. Again, I stopped the camera and continued doing it because it was very repetitive. I'm showing you a bunch of letters now. I had selected those lime green alphas from Simple Stories, but I didn't like it. I didn't look right to me. So I showed you that box of embellishments, which was a box of embellishments I put together at the beginning of the month for Christmas theme projects. I had red ones in there as well, but they were kind of big because my title is going to be A Grateful Heart. So I ended up going with those alphas from Becky Messer-Bitting, and what you saw me do was simply coloring them in. I was using a Stampin' Blends marker from Stampin' Up. The color was dark olive, and it worked well with this paper. Anyway, I colored them all in, and as you can see, I placed my title, and now I'm starting to create an embellishment cluster. Well, the first thing I had to do was add a journaling box. And you can see I have all of my embellishments around me at this point. So I start with a tag and also a journaling box. The tag came from the paper pack, a cut apart sheet, and that journaling box is from the ephemera pack. And now what my plan is to do, I'm going a bit rogue from the sketch right now, is to create kind of a massive embellishment cluster over by the journaling box and the title. So you saw me go in there with a little house, and now I've got the sticker sheet out, and I put the stickers on wax paper because I'm not quite certain what I want to do, and that way I can play around with placement a bit. So I added that snow globe there, as well as that poinsettia cluster from the sticker sheet. And now what I'm doing is actually going back in my embellishment box. At the beginning of December, I took this gold paper and did a whole bunch of die cutting with it. That's what I showed you a moment ago. And I have one star left, so I'm going to put that at the top of the tree, but there were also some circles there. So I'm just kind of placing them around the tree because Milena had some of that on her sketch as well. I'm playing around with placement, but I'm not convinced about these gold pieces at this point. I like the star, I'm not sure about those round circles at this point. But when my page is like this, it feels pretty disjointed because I have a lot of it on wax paper and everything's kind of loose. So I decide to start adhering things. I know the photo's going to go there. I know my journaling box and the tag are going to go there. And I also know where my title is going to go. I did add some ink around the journaling box and the tag. And now what you see me doing is adding a little bit more ink to that sticker there. The ephemera pieces and the stickers kind of have a white edge, but the paper is more cream based and my foundation page is cream based as well. So I added a bit of that gray ink just to hide the whiteness, I guess. And as you can see, I stopped the film and continued adhering my title, and now I'm playing around with those gold pieces. I do decide to go with them, and I'm happy with them after all, but I wasn't 100% convinced at this point. I do pop up a few things on foam adhesive. I did the star as well as that poinsettia that's in the top left-hand corner, but now I do need a base for my tree. So I have that label punch from Stampin' Up. It's an old punch. I've used it before in years past as a tree base. That's why I waited to place a tree base until the end. And that's what you see me doing right now, kind of tucking it under the tree. I just punched it out in that charcoal bluish almost cardstock that's in the foundation page, and I do need a reinforcer for the tag, so I'm using a hole punch and a 1/2 inch circle punch. I end up doing it in that same charcoal bluish gray paper, but I don't like that, so I do the very same thing in that green paper. My camera ran out of batteries here, but all I did off camera was add a bow. I used some twine from Lawn Fawn with a little bit of gold flecks in it. I added one more piece of ephemera that says Warm Heart right underneath the title there, and I put a few Nouveau drops in gold in the middle of both of those poinsettia clusters. And that's it, aside from my journaling, of course. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Also, if you haven't subscribed to Scrapbooking Quebec, I would be absolutely thrilled if you did. I hope you're having a happy and healthy December. I would like to thank you very, very much for watching my videos. And also, don't forget to check out the other participants. Their links are in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye-bye.